Focus on yourself, not others. Let me tell you something I learned many years ago, something that changed the entire direction of my life. I was young, restless, frustrated, always comparing, always looking at someone else's grass to check if it was greener. And one day, an older gentleman, calm, sharp, observant, looked at me and said, "Young man, you will waste your whole life if you keep watching what everyone else is doing instead of paying attention to what you're supposed to build." At first, I didn't understand what he meant, but life, as it always does, taught the lesson again and again until it finally sank in. I had big dreams at that time, but I had small habits. I wanted extraordinary results, but I had ordinary focus. I wanted to rise, but I kept looking sideways. Who's ahead of me? Who's behind me? Who's getting more recognition? Who's walking faster? Who started earlier? And you know what comparing did to me? It distracted me. It drained me. It made me believe that other people's progress was my problem. I learned later that other people's path is none of my business. My business is my path, my progress, my discipline, and my responsibility. I remember a story the old man shared with me. He said, "Imagine you're driving on a long road toward a destination you've dreamed about for years. Your fuel tank is full, your car is powerful, the road is clear, but instead of driving forward, you keep turning your head left and right, checking how fast the other cars are going. And while you stare, your car drifts, slows down, maybe even crashes. That's life. You can have the skills, the intelligence, the talent, the potential, but if your attention keeps wandering to what other people have, what other people do, what other people achieve, you'll never discover what you are capable of." Focusing on others is easy. It's comfortable. It gives you excuses. When you look at someone ahead of you, you say, "Of course they win. Look what they have." When you look at someone behind you, you say, "I'm already doing better than them." Neither direction helps you grow. One makes you insecure, the other makes you arrogant. Both block your progress. But focusing on yourself, that's difficult. That requires honesty. That requires discipline. That requires accountability. And that's why most people don't do it. They're afraid of seeing the truth about their own effort. Let me tell you another story. Years ago, I met a young man at a seminar. He came up to me after the session and said, "Sir, I've been working hard, but I'm not getting anywhere. Everyone around me is moving faster, better jobs, better results, better opportunities. I feel stuck." I asked him one question. "How many hours a day do you spend improving you?" He froze. Then he said, "Well, I don't know, maybe half an hour." I smiled. The problem isn't others moving faster. The problem is you're not moving enough. He looked shocked, but he knew it was true. He had been measuring his success using someone else's timeline, someone else's progress, someone else's achievements, but he wasn't measuring the only thing that mattered, his own growth. Let me tell you, focusing on yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. It is powerful. It is the foundation of every great achievement. When you focus on others, you feel envy. When you focus on yourself, you gain clarity. When you focus on others, you waste time. When you focus on yourself, you make progress. When you focus on others, you create stories in your head. When you focus on yourself, you create results in your life. People spend hours watching what others post online, what others buy, where others travel, what others wear. They know everything about everyone except the one person who actually matters, the person in the mirror. That person determines your future, not the ones you compare yourself to. There's a beautiful shift that happens when you stop watching others and start watching yourself. You begin to notice your own patterns. You begin to understand your own strengths. You begin to see where your real weaknesses lie, not the ones you pretend to have, but the ones you've been avoiding. And something magical happens. Your energy returns. Your confidence grows. You stop being pulled by comparison and start being powered by purpose. Because the truth is, your life becomes peaceful the moment you stop chasing approval. And your life becomes powerful the moment you stop competing with anyone except who you were yesterday. One day, the same old mentor told me, "If you want a shortcut to success, here it is. Make sure tomorrow's version of you is a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more disciplined than today's version." That's it. That's the formula. No secret tricks, no magic, just consistent self-focus. And you don't measure your growth in comparison to your neighbor or your friend. Your competition is simple: you versus you. If you improve by one small step each day, the compound effect will create results that most people will think are impossible. But they're not impossible. They're just hidden behind consistent self-improvement. Let me share one more story, because stories teach better than instructions. A farmer once planted 2 seeds, one in a quiet corner of his land, the other near the fence where everyone walking by could see it. The seed near the fence grew fast, pushing itself to appear taller than the plants around it. It stretched itself thin, trying to impress the passers-by. Meanwhile, the seed in the quiet corner grew slowly, steadily, with strong roots, never looking around. After a few months, a heavy storm hit the area. The plant near the fence, weak-rooted, insecure, stretched beyond its strength, fell immediately. But the plant in the quiet corner, it stood firm. Why? Because its strength came from focusing on its own growth, not the attention of the world. You are that seed. You can grow for applause, or you can grow for strength. You can live to compete, or you can live to improve. You can chase validation, or you can chase mastery. And the world may not clap for you now. It may not notice your progress today. But roots grow underground, silently, before the world ever sees the tree. There will always be someone ahead of you. There will always be someone behind you. If you measure yourself using others, you will never feel satisfied. But if you measure yourself by your own commitment, your own effort, your own discipline, you will feel something far more powerful, inner victory. So today I encourage you, stop watching others. Stop comparing. Stop competing with people who don't even know you exist. Give that energy to yourself. Build yourself, study yourself, improve yourself, invest in yourself. Because the moment you shift the focus inward, life begins to shift outward. Success is not about beating others. Success is about becoming the person you promised yourself you would be. When you focus on others, you lose direction. When you focus on yourself, you gain transformation. Your only competition is the person you were yesterday.